What's good with y'all? So we're a few days removed from that big Canelo versus Jermell Charlo fight, and unfortunately, it didn't go as we expected. I did a little bit of extra research. It was a hard watch, but I did rewatch the fight. I just wanted to make sure that I got everything, and did a little bit of extra research. It was very tough to do, but we got through it. And I also waited a few days to really go over this and break this down because I wanted to let it sink in a little bit. Sometimes, going immediately after the fight, tempers might be a little bit high because of a disappointing, outing, a disappointing show for the fans. So I wanted to let it sink in, wait a little bit to give my actual, real, genuine thoughts on this fight. So after watching this fight twice now, it has been very unusual, right? It was, commentating and stuff the first time around. I could, it's hard for me to really grasp what is going on in a way because, I'm commentating, I'm interacting with you guys and all that stuff, but getting to sit down and watch the fight with no commentary, not listening to the commentary, no bias, no nothing, just purely watching the fight, just me in dead silence. I really like how I could sit back and watch the fight, turn the commentary off, and get a really big, unbiased opinion on how this fight went. And I think the main thing that is a big problem with this fight, as you all see, there's people, going online bashing Jermell Charlo like crazy. I don't think really the fight was his problem, right? I think it was more so what he was saying before the fight in the buildup. He said he was going to put it on for the hood. He said he was going to put it on for his people, for our people. And he didn't do that. Someone like a good example would be Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder put it all out there. He let it all out. He earned that respect. Yeah, people might be like, well, Tyson Fury is just better. Going into the third fight, a huge underdog. Everyone's saying Tyson Fury is way better. Tyson Fury is going to smoke him. Deontay Wilder went out there and he earned that respect. And him saying if he were to say, I'm going to do it for my hood, leading up to that fight, I guarantee no one would have been disappointed because he let it all out there. But you can't say the same for Jermell Charlo. And unfortunately, this is almost like a little domino effect because the last huge fight that was going on that we heard someone say they were putting it on for their hood, it was the sad showing of Adrian Broner when he went up against Manny Pacquiao, and a similar, outing. Didn't really do anything. And at least, he didn't get on the mic and think that he won the fight and stuff. But, very, very similar type of fight. And it's tough to see. It's really, really tough. And I can see where all the criticism is coming from because the Charlo brothers preach being a lion. They preach that big time. They always talking about being a lion. And the lion just didn't come out in that fight against Canelo. Canelo was the one coming forward. Canelo was the one initiating the exchanges, throwing the hard shots. Charlo just looked like he was too nervous of the power to really want to stand in the pocket and trade like we normally see him do in his fights. Those fights against Castaño, you could see that he was willing to stand there. He was willing to trade. He was willing to, take some shots to give some. And Canelo, with this new style, before he was more of like a boxer. Now he's a big time power puncher willing to come forward with that pressure and throw bombs. I thought it would favor Charlo if he would be able to counter Canelo, but he just wouldn't throw back. I don't know if it was the power. It's tough to say because we can be on the outside and we can say all this stuff. I would have done this, I would have done that. But we're not the ones with Canelo in front of us showing us that pressure, throwing those crazy hard shots at us, landing those heavy shots to the body. Because Canelo landed a lot of heavy shots to the body. Were those body shots taking a toll on Jermell? I don't know if he'll come out and say it, but keeping, as a fighter, you keep a poker face on. So he's not going to really show it in the ring. But maybe the body shots were taking a toll on him or something. I don't know, but all I can judge is from what we saw, and we just didn't see Jermell Charlo in there. I don't know if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't know if he just was okay with the moral victory of not getting knocked out, because we saw in the post-fights that he was saying, it's a win in my book because I didn't get knocked out and all those guys got knocked out. But, maybe now that it's been a few days and he had to sit on it, and he had to realize, this was my big opportunity to pull off a big win, the biggest win of his career by far. And he just didn't leave it all out there. maybe it's sinking in now that, getting that moral victory of not getting knocked out wasn't enough, right? And I think having that mindset might have been what was pushing him to fight how he fought. Instead of going in and saying, I am going to win this fight, I am going to beat Canelo, he was fine with, I didn't get knocked out. And I think if you fight like that, or if you think like that, you're going to fight like you don't want to get knocked out, or you're not willing to take any risks to get knocked out. And that's what we saw. Jermell just didn't take any risks. Canelo was the only one taking risks. This fight, I know I did see some people bashing Canelo for this, but what can he do? It was looking like Jermell was just not trying to get knocked out. He wasn't trying to fight. He was just not trying to get knocked out. And, that's what I saw from the fight. But now here's the weird thing, because Jermell Charlo is now calling for the Terence Crawford fight. And in my opinion, I think even if you were to lose to Canelo, even if you were to get knocked out by Canelo, if you would have put up a fight, you would have earned that. You would have earned the big fight. But the way that you fought, how you fought, trying to fight a fight that isn't your style, which is uncharacteristic and almost looked cowardly. I don't want to say that, because at the end of the day, everyone who gets in the ring deserves respect, especially against someone like Canelo. He moved up big time in weight, 14 pounds. That's a big difference. So respect to him for even doing that. But it's just everyone perceiving it as a cowardly type of fight from Jermell Charlo. So I don't think he really earned the Terence Crawford fight, because that is a huge fight. Terence Crawford is coming off a huge win over Errol Spence, and now he's looking like he's about to become one of the superstars of boxing, arguably pound for pound #1 fighter in the entire world. So, I don't think Jermell has really earned it. And in my opinion, I think Terence Crawford should shoot for that Canelo fight instead. That's what I'm thinking. I think he's going to fight Spence next because the rematch clause, and Spence did activate it. But, should you beat Spence? If you lose to Spence, Terence Crawford has a big fight next regardless. If you lose to Spence, the trilogy is going to be massive. If you beat Spence again, go after Canelo in my eyes. Jermell Charlo, he's got some rebranding to do, because, I don't know who's going to want to pay for a pay-per-view with his name on it again. I understand you want to fight it a little bit more safe because you're going up in weight. You're fighting a much bigger guy, which is why I thought Canelo would win the fight. I didn't think Jermell's punches were really going to phase Canelo that much, and it appeared to be so. Everything Jermell threw, Canelo just walked right through it and kept coming like a Terminator. I think he's got to earn the big fights. I think you got to earn the big fights. Up until this point, with those wars with Castaño, knockout after knockout, he earned the Canelo fight. But after fighting like that against Canelo, I don't think you've earned the Terence Crawford fight. But as always, I'm curious to see what you all think also. Do you think Jermell Charlo should fight Terence Crawford next? Or do you think Terence, should he beat Errol Spence? Do you think Terence Crawford should shoot for that Canelo fight? Or do you think Canelo should just fight guys his size, maybe rematch Dimitri Bivol or fight Benavidez? I know a lot of you guys are very, or we all, because I'm even excited for that, really want to see Canelo fight David Benavidez should he get past his next opponent, because he's got a big fight coming up against Boo Boo. That is a big fight. And if Benavidez gets past that, him and Canelo would be a massive fight. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think is next for these guys? As always, I appreciate y'all so much for the support, and I'll catch you in the next video.